Hey everyone, Jay Whitner here with Space Headlines. We do a quick recap every week of what's going on in the space universe, and today we'll be talking about the first week of November 2018. We start with SpaceX. As you may recall, SpaceX is developing a spaceport in Boca Chica, Texas, and the development has been slower than originally anticipated because of an incident with the Falcon 9 program when one of the rockets was lost. So the urgency and the resources were changed as a result of that. But development continues on this spaceport. And the question is what's going to launch there? Well, it sounds like the early use is going to be the BFR flight testing. The earliest testing of the BFR will probably be at McGregor, but there are strict limitations on the altitude that you can do in your testing from the McGregor facility. So the second stage of testing will probably happen for BFR at Boca Chica. In the longer term, when we're ready for full-up orbital BFR flights, the thinking is that may have to happen from Florida for a variety of reasons. So in the long run, Boca Chica may be for overflow when KSC is too busy, and Falcon 9s and Falcon Heavies may take off from Boca Chica. We have the arrival of the very first service module for Orion. This was flown over from Europe, built by Airbus. This module is critical for Orion's functioning. The service module provides all the propulsion, all the power, the air and water that supports astronauts on the Orion spacecraft. All this comes from the service module. So there's a ton of testing that's going to be happening, and this is compliments of ESA, the European Space Agency, who picked Airbus to build this module. Planetary Resources was purchased by a blockchain firm called ConsenSys. The ConsenSys company, although I'd not been familiar with them prior to this purchase, is fairly substantial. They have 1,100 employees at ConsenSys, and they've bought Planetary Resources. Chris Lewicki, who is president of Planetary Resources, is transitioning into the new company, so there'll be some continuity. And we'll have to see, how this impacts Planetary Resources operations moving forward. The Dawn spacecraft, which did some amazing things, has now run out of fuel after great operations for over a decade. The Dawn spacecraft, the most famous thing perhaps, is it orbited two different planetary bodies, which no spacecraft had ever done. These are two asteroids, Vesta and Ceres. So these are the two largest asteroids in the asteroid belt. A tremendous amount of data was acquired by the Dawn spacecraft, which is now in retirement, orbiting Ceres. It's not operational because there's no fuel to maneuver the spacecraft or point the solar panels in the right direction and so forth. So it'll be up there, and thanks for all that great information. We have the National Geographic Mars series. This is the second season of this series, is airing on November the 11th. And this one, the second season, starts in the year 2042, so it's 9 years after the first season began. So the first season was sort of setting up a Mars settlement. This is now like an evolution of a Mars settlement. Ron Howard is the creative guy, really, that's behind and directing this thing. And one interesting thing is the mechanism for storytelling that they're doing. I haven't seen it done quite this way before. They have cuts between speaking with current space visionaries about our future on Mars, Chris Carberry, Bob Zubrin, and other people. So they cut from those kind of things to the future on Mars. So it's an interesting way to present the information. So check that out on National Geographic. China has unveiled their new space station module. This is a full-size mock-up that they did at a big air show in China. And it's quite a large item. It's 55 feet long, weighs 60 tons. It can accommodate 3 astronauts. And their schedule on this is they expect to be finished completing the real one in 2022. So fairly soon, this will be available to China for launch, and they will join the International Space Station up in orbit. SpaceX made a very interesting announcement. What they said is they want to modify a Falcon 9 upper stage so it's quite similar to a BFR in many respects, because they want to do this for testing. So they want to do like orbital test flights of this thing, and their main interest is testing of heat shield and the control surfaces at high Mach speeds. So they want to get some data that apparently it's hard to get through computer simulations or wind tunnel testing. So they're actually going to go up to space to get the answers to this question. So hopefully that will go smoothly. That's supposed to happen in the middle of next year. So that'll be a very interesting mission when we see how that operates up in space. Sort of the first glimpse of a mini BFR. That's it for our show for the first week of November 2018. Hope that you enjoyed it, and we'll see you soon with the coverage on the second week of November. Take care.